Hello, Lori, and hello to everyone else who may be referring to this video and the resources later on down the line. We're talking today about some basic video editing, um, especially for those who are focusing today on video editing for people who may be using a Windows computer. As you know, Windows does not have the same built-in tools uh, that a Mac does in terms of having iMovie. There is a very basic video editor that does come with Windows 10 if you go down to the search bar and type in video editor app, but it lacks a lot of features that most of us would like to have, such as being able to have smooth transitions back and forth between video clips, and also lacks the feature to create title cards, the like a that you would have at the beginning of your video. And so hopefully today we're going to walk through the tool that I'll recommend today. And the better part is that it's free, and it's one of the more intuitive free options that I think are out there. It is similar to um, iMovie in that regard, which I like. Um, so the tool that we're going to be using is a video editing software called OpenShot Video Editor, and once again it's a free software that you can download by going to openshot.org. And once you navigate to that page, you can just click the download button, and you will be able to download it for whichever OS you're using, because it is also available for Mac OS as well. Um, but since we're focusing on Windows, you would just want to click the Windows download. It should pop up as well for you, and you'll just run through your standard download installation process for that. Um, Once you download OpenShot Video Editor and you open it up, you'll find that it looks a little bit like the iMovie software, which is nice because it's has an uh, easy layout, easy format, and it's a lot of it is a drag and drop functionality. So, for example, when I open OpenShot, I have some video clips already on my desktop, and I can select them and drag and drop them right into my movie project. Now you can see I already had some stuff imported into this um, video project that we can use as well. One of the things you may want to change setting wise for your OpenShot is if you look at the top left hand side of the screen, it says that that it's going to export the project in 720p at 30 fps, um, which is a little lower grade video. So if you wanted to change that, you would just click the edit preferences, and then just navigate to preview so that you could change those settings to 1080p. I will say also that I will also say for OpenShot as well, the website itself has very great detailed, um, has very good detailed tutorials for walking through anything that you may have questions on it as well. Um, so again, you see that we have some clips already loaded into our movie project, and we did that just by dragging and dropping them into OpenShot, which allows us to start editing the project uh, that we want to work on. And these clips that I have now queued up for us um, are just it's a previous Vesper service that I recorded for Wednesday. Um, but it just gives us something to work with. So now, once you import or drag and drop all your videos that you want into uh, OpenShot, uh, hi Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
Just so you know that this is recorded and it'll be available later on if you want to go back and look at it as well. So,
Perfect.
so we're just talking about right now using OpenShot, which is the program that I'm recommending to folks right now for editing videos on Windows, since Windows doesn't have a nice built-in tool like Macintosh does. So right now, if we want to start working on editing some of these videos, um, we can just drag and drop, for example, this video clip down here to either track 1 or track 2, but I like to keep things on the similar on a similar page. And you can see here on this timeline, I can um, search through everything. And then on this bar here, I can also adjust how much of this timeline I want to see. So I can either really get in microscopically or um, or I can zoom out a little bit. I think one of the big things that people have asked for in terms of video editing software on a Windows machine is the ability to do some transition work and things like that, because on the very basic Windows video editor, there is no way to do that. So if we wanted to sort of work on creating a transition between two separate clips you may have recorded, we'll drag in another clip here in OpenShot. And right now, we'll see that if we play them, I just want to. That it just cuts right then to the next clip, which is not something we want at this moment. So what we can do in OpenShot, which is nice as well, that if we just sort of drag the clip, drag our two clips and overlap them, it automatically creates a transition for us. So we'll see now that as this clip finishes up, it'll just transition then. It'll transition nicely to the next clip, which is not something we can normally do in Windows. There's some, and that would be the easiest way to do a transition in OpenShot. And I do like that nice, simple fade out, fade in transition. But what you can do as well, if you want to get more complicated, you can click the transitions tab in OpenShot. And again, I'll say that OpenShot's really great. That if you, even though you can refer to this video, OpenShot also has a really great, really easy to walk through tutorial on its website. So you can always refer to that as well. But OpenShot as well, you can click the transitions bar here, and you can pick what kind of transition you want to include. I don't really like some of the over the top transitions that you can include, but if we wanted to overlap our clips, and for example do a circle in, circle out, we can just put that in instead of the fade. To enter into a moment. Oh, let's see. And we can get that as our transition. If you don't want to overlap your clips to create a transition, OpenShot will walk you through putting down, dragging and dropping one of these transitions and what it calls reversing the transition. for the clip that you're transitioning out of, and then you just have it normal for the clip that you want to move into, that's a fine workaround. But I think for most people, you could get away with just overlapping the clips that you want to transfer or transition between. I mean, depending as well on how uh, detailed you want to get into as well for how you edit files. OpenShot also allows you to, when you right click a clip that's on your timeline, you can see that you can also edit some of the volume options for your clip. This is good if you know are recording at different volume levels, for example. You sort of want to get things as even as possible. Not something though that is required. Um, and if you're someone who really loves messing around with audio, which I can't say is a love of mine, you can also separate the audio from the video clip itself, and you can sort of get that kind of play going on. But that's not something you really have to do on a normal basis. I think then the other thing is that people have asked about for a video editing software that they can use on Windows is how they can do a title card. And there's a couple ways that you can do that. Is you could use another free service like Canva to sort of create a still picture that is your title card and transition that into your video. So, for example, if I have a video and I have this still picture as my title card, I can sort of just overlap them and it'll transition into the video then. Or OpenShot also lets you bring in a still picture if you have one. And if you clicked title and then title, you can pick an option of different pre-formatted title cards that they have. But what I like as well about this is that if you, for example, if you have a second track, you can overlap it and you can still keep the picture you want, for example, as the solid background, and then have the title on top of it. So either of those work. Depends on what your personal preference is. I think the other nice thing about OpenShot in terms of using it is, let's say I drag down another video clip. If I want to shorten it, you can't lengthen it unless you recorded more. But if you want to trim out some of the parts, it's almost like iMovie in the fact that you can move your mouse to the end of the clip and just shorten it out as much as you want. Or if you want, you can really do some more finessing with moving the time indicator where you want it to be, and then clicking the slice option if you really want to break apart clips and separate them. So I mean, these are some of the basic tools I feel like most people would be looking for in a Windows video editor, and I think it serves a lot more, offers a lot more than what the very basic Windows 10 video editor app offers, and should get you to sort of what you want to do, I think, compared to the basics of the video editor app. And again, if you were to go to OpenShot, you'll see as well that it has the all the walkthroughs for things that we talked about as well. So, and I like that it has the pick tutorial guides for walking you through things as well. So yeah, I really just wanted to introduce people to this because I know there are many folks who are still pre-recording and uploading worship videos, and there have been a good number of you who have asked for especially a free video editing tool. And so this is a nice one, I think, because a lot of the free ones out there are also nice. But even for myself, I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. So uh, I will say, if there are any questions right now that would be helpful, or if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to say as well that OpenShot.org offers a lot of tutorial materials as well. But I thought I would introduce folks to this free tool that's out there.
Casey, I do have a quick question. So with the like exporting and compiling a video that you're putting together, is there any way of speeding up that process? That to me is the longest, most tiresome part to do.
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is that the exporting of your video really depends on your computer.
Mhm.
Um, and so unless you're going to, if I hit the little red button, which is to export, unless if I tell it to export at a slightly lower quality, like 720p compared to 1080, um, that would speed things up. But as you probably know, that sacrifices
Yeah,
some. Though I mean, if you're shooting video in 720p, it doesn't. I wouldn't export that in 1080p.
right.
So, but yeah, the bottleneck for that will certainly be the type of computer you're using. Um, yeah, because even for my current system, I find that if I export a 30-40 minute length movie or video, it takes me about it takes my computer like maybe 10 minutes or so to export that.
Mm.
um so yeah, unfortunately, there's not much you can do on your end unless you lower the quality.
What are most people in the presbytery doing as far the church is doing? Are they like in Otisville, we go live every week and we do a live service and then we do a live stream to Facebook, YouTube, and also our website. Um, are most people pre-recording at this point, or are we doing a lot of the like hybrid stuff as well?
So I still know a fair number of folks who are pre-recording worship materials and uploading that. um for myself, for example, we're doing a hybrid live virtual, and a lot of what we do is live editing, I guess you
Mhm.
could say. Um, and then there's people who are meeting live and um, not offering it as a live in-person service, but they've pre-recorded something for a virtual. So it's all sort of like a take and pick, mix and
Mhm.
match kind of a thing right now. So um, I'd still say for the large number of folks who aren't gathering in person, though, um, they're still doing pre-recorded worship services.
Okay.
Lori, I know that your mic isn't working, but did you have any questions?
You can put them in the chat, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No worries. Um, but I think if for anyone who may just want to mess around with it, I think just even having some whatever kind of video clips you have and just messing around with them, that'll give you sort of the
Mhm.
experimental hands-on part for this. And um yeah, sort of like what you were saying, Elizabeth, is that for myself, we're not really going back and editing our live stream, 'cause that's a lot
Yes.
to be able to do. um I will say, though, what we are starting to do now, though, for our live YouTube um videos, is that you can add sort of timestamps in your
Mm.
video.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you were to go back to a pre-recorded one, you can see, like, if as I hover over the time bar, I have, like the welcome, and you can see, you could sort of search through things with that timing on it.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's something we're starting to experiment with, as not really editing, but making some of the videos more accessible so people um, don't have to scroll through the whole video.
Yeah. Well, this will be helpful because I'm going to go back to our recordings basically and start building a catalog of music. So we're going to
Oh,
splice
nice.
all the live music and just make little clips of it so we can just pop in songs in other areas wherever we need them.
Nice. Yeah, and I mean, for that, um, for that, I mean, this would actually be fairly easy, because once you import your live service, and you could find where it is you want it, and then
Hmm.
just sort of trim out.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that this would be a great tool for that. Um, cool. I try to make it not as intimidating, Lori, but sometimes, So, okay, that's then OpenShot that I am presenting to you all, and if you have any other, I we try and do these things that people have an interest in for topics, and I know that the times are not always optimal for people,
Mhm.
which is why we also try and record them. So if you have any other suggestions for topics that you would like provided on, you can shoot them to me in an email, and because I'm sure you're not the only ones who have those questions. So, uh, otherwise, thank you both for coming today.
Great. Thank you for your time.